day. Hi doing? So in this class, we're learning how to solve simultaneous equations. So basically, what are simultaneous equations? Simultaneous equations are two linear equations that we solve concurrently. So I have a linear equation, say x plus y equal to 5. This is a linear equation, and then I have another linear equation, say x minus y equal to 5. I think I have to change this to say 13. Yeah, I have to change this to say 13. So this should be equal to 13, and this should be equal to 5. So I have x plus, so this is what is simultaneous equation. So basically, simultaneous equation is two linear equations where there are two variables. You have to find each of them, and you do it concurrently. So it's very interesting. And trust me, this video is going to make it very simple as possible. So when we see something like this, there's something that we should pay attention to. We should pay attention to the coefficients of the variables. So in this case, the coefficient of x is 1. So it's very important that I point out that once you see a variable that is written without any coefficient, say a, b, so that the coefficient of each of them is 1. So for each of these variables, I have my coefficient as what? 1. So that gives me a lot of options on how to go about this. So when we're talking of simultaneous equation, there are a couple of 3 basic ways to solve it. So the first is using elimination method. The second is using substitution method. And the third is using the graphical method. So in schools, most of the time you get to use the elimination and the substitution method, but the graphical method, I think I'll touch it sometime in this video. So just sit tight and you'll grab a lot of value from this video. Okay, let's go down to elimination method. Just as the name implies, it's about eliminating one variable, so that we'll be left with just one variable. You know, we have 2 variables to deal with, x and y, but it's usually very easy if we just have a variable to deal with. So what we do in elimination is we find a way to eliminate one of the variables, and that leaves us with just one variable. So how do I do it? I do that by simply doing addition, subtraction, depending on what's gonna work. So let me use this example first. So this is my example 1. So let's say for this one, it's pretty easy. I can decide to use addition, can decide to use subtraction. Okay, let me just take out these guys here. Can decide to use addition, I can decide to use subtraction. So let me say I use addition here. I'll be left with something like this. I like to do it this way. So I have x plus x. So what will I have? I have 2x down here, and then I have y plus minus y. That gives me plus y plus minus y equal to 13 plus 5. So y plus minus y gives me minus y. So I have y minus y, and this just goes out. So I'll be left with 2x to be equal to 18, and then x to be equal to 18 over 2. And that gives me 9. Pretty simple. Alright. So I've succeeded in finding one of the values. So the value of x is 9. So what do? I substitute. So the next thing I do is that I substitute. So I'm going to substitute equation. I'm going to substitute the value of x, say x equal to 9, in any of the equations, equation 1 or 2. So let me look at the equations carefully. I decide to choose equation 2. So by the way, this is my equation 1, and this is my equation 2. Yeah, right. That's pretty good. So when I substitute that, I'll use this space here. Alright, I'll have that x minus y equal to 5 becomes 9 minus y equal to 5. So I'm gonna just call it like terms. So the numbers are gonna mean themselves. I'm gonna have minus y equals to 5 minus 9, and that gives me minus y to be equal to minus 4, and then y is equal to 4 because the negatives cancel themselves. So that's pretty simple. So y is equal to 4 in this case. So this is just one approach. So when we have all of the coefficients of the variable to be just 1, it gives us a lot of options. So I can decide now to use, let me say, I can decide to, yes, I'm getting this a bit bigger. Yeah, I think this is okay. It's okay. Yeah. I can decide to now use subtraction. So let's go back to that problem. So let's say x minus y to be equal to 13, and I have x plus y to be equal to 13, x minus y to be equal to 5. So now, what if I use subtraction? So when I use subtraction, what happens is this guy is gone. So I'm left with y minus y to be equal to 13 minus 5. So that gives me minus gives me plus. So I'm going to have 2y to be equal to 8. And apparently, I have that y is equal to 8 so 4 over 2 is equal to 4. And that's exactly what we had in our previous approach. So my goal of doing this is not to put you in a box so that you have a lot of approach in solving things like this, and it becomes a little much easier when you have a lot of weight to solve a problem. So we now substitute just like we did earlier. So let's substitute this time in equation 1. We'll have x plus y to be equal to 13. So that implies that we have x plus 4 to be equal to 13. So x will be equal to 13 minus 4. So x is equal to 9. That's it. Very pretty easy. So that is it for this. That's it for this. So we'll be taking another exercise. So I'll be calling that example 2. Yeah. example 2. So I want to do something. Let me just create another page. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I need it to be blank and default. Beautiful. Yeah. Good. So let's say I want to take another example. So let me look for my example here. I've decided to take this one, 2, try to take 2x plus 3y to equal to 12, and I have x minus y to equal to 1. That's pretty nice. Alright, so you can see that it's very obvious that the two variables are not the same. So that gives us a little bit of right, but no, that's not a challenge. So what we're going to do is, the first things is to multiply. I'm going to write it out here. We're going to write it out. Multiply the coefficients. Okay, the coefficients of equation 1 of rather, oh gosh, take that long. It's supposed to be the coefficient of x in equation 1 by the coefficient, oh my gosh, I'm not doing, multiply the coefficient, that's where the problem is. Yeah, okay, so multiply equation 1 by the coefficient of x in equation 1, equation 2, and multiply equation 2 by the coefficient of x in equation 1. So we will have something like this. So the equation of x in equation 1, in equation 2, so this is equation 2, this is equation 1. The equation of x in equation 2 is 1. So we're going to have 1 multiplying 2x plus 2y equal to 12. And then I'm going to have the other one, coefficient of x in equation 1 multiplying that's 2 into x minus y equal to 1. So that's very good. So this gives us 2x plus 3y equal to 12, nothing changes, and this gives us 2x minus 2y equal to 2. So this is very beautiful because something has just happened. We've been able to make these variables that had different coefficients to have one and the same coefficients, at least one of it. So the goal is not that all of them have the same coefficients, but the goal is that one variable is consistent with the same coefficients. So that enables us to eliminate. What we are doing is elimination method, and in the elimination method the whole essence is to eliminate one variable, so we'll be left with just one variable. So having done this, we've made our work a little much easier. So we'll go back to what we did in the previous slide. So just split our screen this way so that yeah. So I have this as my two equations, so let me subtract because that's the only thing that could work here. So I'm gonna have 2x minus 2x, so that this way this is gone. So I'm gonna have 3y minus this minus 2y to equal to 12 minus 2. Okay, that gives me 5y to equal to what? 10. Beautiful. So when I'm resolving that, I'm gonna have the y equals to 10 over 5. That's 2. So the next step is to substitute. Substitute y equal to 2 in any of the equations. So let's choose equation 2 because it looks a pretty much easier. So we'll be doing that x minus 2 is equal to 1. So that tells us that x is equal to what? 3. So if you're wondering how x is equal to 3, you'll be moving this guy from here to here. That's called collecting items, and once you move across the equality sign, the sign changes. So we are having something like 2 plus 1. Yeah, and that gives us what? 3. That's how we came here. So I hope this video has been able to help you. So just to help you do one or two things, I'll be leaving you with a problem. Do solve it, and you can just drop the answers at the comment section. So I'll be leaving you with this y equal to, it is my assignment, y equal to 2x plus 1, and then I have 3y, or rather 3x plus y is equal to 19. So I wish you good luck. See you in the next video. Thank you. Do like, subscribe, and follow.